And I want to find out from you, what was when you were coming up, in your early years with your family, maybe your church community, what was your view on money, right? What was your relationship with
Ooh.
money back then?
So I'm of Jamaican heritage, right? My
Okay.
both of my parents were born and raised on the island. My dad came to this country on a school visa. My
Hmm.
mother came to this country so that I wouldn't have to apply for my social security numbers.
Hmm.
She literally came to this country in May and she had me in October.
Right.
Okay, so my parents were not about to have children and had to apply for social security numbers.
Right. Right.
Growing up, my dad always had, he was a very typical Jamaican,
Hmm.
right? That joke of Jamaicans having multiple jobs
Right.
is not a joke.
Right.
It's not an over exaggeration.
It's,
It's
it's it's
it's
real
as a
life.
matter of fact, we look at you funny if you only have a full-time job and a
Oh,
part-time job. Like that's all you have. You don't have a night job. You don't
got
have
you.
a weekend. Like you will have your traditional 9 to 5, right? And then you have your job that covers your partner. Then you have your job that sends money back home. And then you have
Mm,
your kitty cash. Like, so why don't you have 4 jobs? I'm
got you.
confused. Did I miss something? So I grew up seeing my dad constantly work.
Mm,
My dad always had a 9 to 5, and then he had his personal businesses.
right.
My father owned a barbershop. I don't know if anyone of any of my viewers or any of your viewers, sorry, are familiar with the Bronx, but my dad owned the barbershop on Six Corners in Tremont. So if
Mm.
anyone from the 80s and the 90s has ever heard about the barbershop on Six Corners, my father owned that shop before it burnt down.
Wow.
Okay. My father drove trucks.
Hmm.
My father went to school and got a degree. Um, my father was in ministry. My
Hmm.
father, what else did that man do? He owned a bookstore. He is a
Wow.
licensed real estate broker. He had his own firm and had employees.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Now we
so
talking my
I
language.
so I grew up seeing my dad have multiple businesses
Right,
and a
right.
9 to 5. So if
Hmm.
there was something he always taught me, he was like, "Yes, go to school and get your education." That's you take a book from morning. That was the line that we heard. Did you talk to Jesus and did you check a book from morning? In other words, did you
Mm,
pray and did you read something that stimulated your brain? I always saw my
mm,
dad with a book.
got you.
I don't have his library. Every month, my father read a different book, and my father would fly through books. And they
Mm,
were not see Jane run, see dot skip. It was always some kind of self help, critical thinking, business, financial entrepreneurship. My father normalized owning a business.
mm,
He normalized having employees. He
right.
normalized being a CEO before CEOs, founders, and owners was in someone's bio. He had 3 of them.
Hmm.
I remember leaving school to go to his barbershop and sweep the floor. I remember uh, leaving high school, and if I was hungry, going to his real estate firm and everyone going, "Oh, Lovemore's daughter's here." And I can go right in the back to his office and just sit and do whatever I wanted. I remember when I finally decided to cut my hair, I would walk in his barbershop. There'd be a line of men. I would walk past the line of men, sit in his chair, have him cut my hair, then stick up my hand and ask for lunch money. So I grew up with my dad having multiple streams of income because,
Right.
in addition to having a prayer life, right? And in addition to
Mm,
stimulating your brain, he understood that he could not pass down. And I'm going to say this in a way that's meant to hurt your feelings,
mm,
right? I can pass this down to my children because it's mine. I own
right.
it. I
Right.
bought it. The only thing I have left to do is trademark it, but I
Right.
own it. You know what
Right.
I cannot pass down to my children? I can't pass this down to them. You see that?
Mm,
I don't own this. You know what I can't pass down to my children? The traditional 9 to 5 that I have, because at the end of the day, I still have to pay rent. I get a uniform for work.
right.
I can't take that shirt and give it to my children because it's going to be a laundry shirt,
Right.
right? At the end of the day, I have to pass something on to my children that's tangible. My
Hmm.
children should wake up and pick, say, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and pick a business that mommy or daddy started to
Mm.
work from that day. And I have
Mm.
to go out and have someone else tell them their worth.
Right.
Yes, my 9 to 5 tells me what I'm worth, but you know what's going to happen in 2 years when I choose to retire myself? I dictate what
Mm.
I'm worth.
That's
And
right.
that to me is gold. I don't have to ask somebody else for a day off of work. Excuse me? I'm
Mm.
grown. I'm a grown woman. What do I look like asking you for the paid time off that I earned and then to feel guilted about taking the paid time off that I earned? Excuse
Facts.
me? No.
Facts.
So I grew up in a household where my father did not play when it
Mm.
came to earning income. He did not play about signing the front of a check.
Thanks for watching the Lion and Lambo podcast. We hope this clip has been a huge blessing to you. And we want to remind you that we drop new videos, new podcast episodes every Sunday at 9 o'clock. You can find the full episode by clicking the card up at the top right of this video. If you prefer an audio only experience, then we want to let you know that we're streaming through every major podcast streaming platform. For the full list, you can go to www.lionandthelambo.com. Until next time, go impact the world.